From legs being broken to players getting hit in the neck, you'll be shocked to see how violent hockey can get. Prepare yourself, because we're about to tell you the 10 most brutal and shocking moments in NHL history, starting with Chris Simon attacking Ryan Holweg.
The first to get up.
Yeah, he thought it was coming to a stick, Doc, and it hit
Goes
something.
in for the pinch, and he's admiring Barbarian with his shot wide. That was a big...
This fateful game took place in 2007. It was a game just like any other. That is until Holweg was struck in the jaw and throat by Simon. What brought this burst of violence? Simon had been hit earlier in the game, and he did not take it well. He was pretty angry and wanted to take revenge, hence his rampage on poor Holweg. The Rangers forward was lying on the ice for a while after getting hit, before he was taken to get stitches. Somehow he still managed to return to the game and finish it. This outburst got Simon a suspension of 25 games from the NHL. But not all accidents are intentional. Yes guys, don't worry, hockey players aren't that evil. Our next entry is Max Pacioretty getting hit by the boards.
By Vancouver. Here down the right side is Burrows. Tipped away from him. He has to get back outside. He does. Burrows across the line.
Usually his...
Oh! Wilson, crush, kill, destroy on Zadorov.
Is it late? He gives it up. No, that's not late either. Then it's shoulder. It's not forward.
Check by Doughty, and then Penner goes after Doughty. And a ruckus breaks out here at the LA blue line.
Went off a body wide. Without a helmet. Torrey Krug. Angry as can be about the battle he was in.
On Phil Kessel. Bam! Went with it.
This isn't exactly a very serious injury, but if you know this happened after a collision with a big player, then you might think differently. The NHL isn't the NBA, in the sense that it doesn't normally have any massively tall players. But we do have rare exceptions. Zdeno Chara was one exception. In a battle for the puck, Pacioretty collided with Chara and went sprawling. The force of the big guy's hit alone was enough to injure him, but to add to it, Pacioretty went flying straight into the board. The poor guy wasn't even conscious when he was taken in by the medics. Thankfully, he's only suffered a concussion and a neck fracture. But this isn't the first or the last body hit received by a hockey player. Another such incident took place in 1995 when Trevor Linden crushed Jeff Norton.
Hey, Ryan, trying to handle that puck along the boards. You can see him, Jack. He's bracing for the hit. He knows it's
It's bumping ever level. Stone has woken up this building.
This took place during the Western Quarterfinals in 1995. Captain Jeff Norton received a hit that went down in history as one of the most shocking hits in NHL history. After a brutal collision by Linden, our captain got pushed straight into a nearby glass, which shattered. This one bone-crushing hit shocked everyone in the audience, fearing for the life of their captain. Despite the accident, the Canucks still managed to win and took a lead in the series. Can you guys handle more? If so, then next up, we have the time when Howie Moritz broke his leg.
Stepping up, Owen Cronwall with a big hit.
From Zach Ronaldo.
Dans tout ça, mais regardez la façon dont Emeline, le bras a suivi par la...
In January 1937, Howie Morinz's amazing career came to an end during a Blackhawks vs. Canadiens game. The outcome of that game was so bad that Morinz passed away a few months later, most likely from the shock. After making a dive for the puck, Morinz lost his balance and crashed into the wood. He tried to get back up, but noticed that his foot had gotten stuck. While he was struggling, another player crashed into him with full force. The shattering sound was heard by everyone in the stadium. A trip to the hospital showed that his leg had broken in 4 different places. Morinz could not handle knowing his career had ended and soon lost his life from a heart attack. The next player thankfully did not end up losing his life or career, but the poor guy suffered from a permanent deformation. Boreas Salming had his face stepped on.
This is a body-on-body, shoulder-on-shoulder hit. In the neutral zone, wasn't it? Look out!
Still down. His head's down. His head's down.
We've seen collisions, and we've seen violent, intentional injuries, but having a player with an injury because someone stepped on his face is new. In a match in 1986, the match was starting to get intense, and Salming lost his footing and fell to the ground. He was about to get up, but a player accidentally tripped and stepped on his face, wearing skate. The blades cut into Salming's skin and left a pretty deep mark. He had to get over 200 stitches. With so many stitches all over his face, he looked pretty bad. But that didn't didn't stop him from continuing his career and earning a spot in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Speaking of dedicated players, we have Ladislav Nagy, who got his throat cut, but still made a line change.
And back for it now, Mark Fane.
Coming up. Certainly then Shifley.
There are some players who just don't give up or think about themselves when it comes to winning a game. Nagy was one such guy. He couldn't be stopped, even by an injury. During the game, one of the players from the other team fell on the ice. His foot went up during the fall and hit Nagy right in the throat. Before anyone saw the blood or could react, he went straight to the bench to make sure he could be subbed out and someone else could take his place. He didn't make a single noise and just went straight to the bench. Someone finally came to him and told him that he needed to get medical attention. And this was not the only player to get a throat cut injury. Clint Marlichuk was another unlucky player. While the initial collision might not have seemed so bad, what happened after affected so many people. Marlichuk was the goalie during the game. To get the puck in, two players were grappling with each other, but they lost their footing and went straight into the net. They collided with Marlichuk, which was fine till the leg of one of the players landed awkwardly and his skate hit our goalie straight in the neck. Before anyone could react, a lot of blood started spilling everywhere, and then people realized what had happened. Some people couldn't handle the sight and vomited. Marlichuk was taken straight into surgery and miraculously made it out alive. If you ever wondered why hockey players wear neck braces, then I guess you have your answer. Some injuries in the NHL have taken place by accident, while others, not so much. For our next entry, we have Todd Bertuzzi sucker punching Steve Moore in a scuffle during the match. Bertuzzi punched Moore in the face before he and a few others fell on top of him. Moore fractured 3 bones in his neck, sustained facial lacerations, and suffered a concussion. His time playing hockey was up. Bertuzzi was punished with a suspension that lasted for the rest of the season. He didn't resume playing until after 2 seasons. While there may not have been any similar incidents with him again, this is something that he'll carry forever. Speaking of players taking their anger out on other players, we have Gordie Howe beats up Louis Fontinato. These two had a rivalry going on for quite some time, and this wasn't their first physical fight ever. While Fontinato was someone who could hold his own pretty well, he didn't stand much of a chance against Howe. After the two got into an argument, Howe beat Fontinato so badly that the poor guy suffered a broken nose and a fractured jaw. His beat-up face became pretty famous and even came on the cover of magazines. Talking about turning your pain into fame. As we bring this list to an end, our last entry is about 2 players who decided to beef it out on the ice with their sticks. Ted Green and Wayne Mackey had a fight that became one of the most well-known in NHL history. In 1969, during an exhibition match, the two started to fight with each other using their sticks. It might have even been funny had it not resulted in Green getting hit in the head so hard that he fractured his skull and got brain damage. This injury was not a career-ending one, but rather a career-changing one. He still managed to play hockey and continue his career, but sadly he did not perform the same way ever again. And that's it for the most brutal moments in NHL history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.